Hey you guys, it's Britt. Today we're here to talk about Self-Taught Beauty. I have a major update, and this is the most important video that I think that I filmed on her, in my opinion. This is huge, and I have to place a big trigger warning. We're going to be reacting to a video that was posted by an organization that seized her 8 cats who all have upper respiratory infections at this point, and it shows her shed. It shows the inside of the shed, what she was subjecting these poor animals to, and it is a very hard thing to see. So I need to place a trigger warning. It doesn't show cats or anything like that, but if you guys are like me and you're animal lovers, seeing this and knowing that there were 8 cats in there while she was not present for the last few days. Allegedly, she's been in the hospital. I don't know what's going on with that, but this is hard to digest, but it's really important that it's talked about. And just as an FYI, before we get into it, the proceeds from this video, I will be making a donation to my local animal shelter, because these shelters and organizations that rescue animals are, they're really doing, I have to say, they're doing God's work. It is so difficult and it's so heartbreaking, but they save these poor animals every single day. And when they're saved and they have health complications, it also comes with nursing them back to health and hoping that they make a full recovery. So I want to make that known before we get into the video, but if you're able to and you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so if you're not familiar with who Self-Taught Beauty is, she is a channel that I've been covering for over a year now sporadically. She lives in the state of Ohio and she resides in a shed. She utilizes her platform to grift sad fish and do anything she can to collect donations. And there's been a lot of questionable activity from her as far as where the donation's going, what is she doing to help herself, why does she have animals when she lives in a shed that is not properly insulated or has proper ventilation. She also utilizes a kerosene heater in the winter to heat this shed that has no ventilation. And as anyone knows, kerosene poisoning and kerosene fumes are very bad for people, but also animals who didn't ask to be locked in a shed with you. If you guys are interested at all, you can check out my other videos, but chances are if you're clicking on this video, you know who Self-Taught Beauty is. I got completely dragged, and this is not about me, but I just want to remind you guys why I made videos on Self-Taught Beauty. I was called a bully. Mandy lied on my name and said that I sent police to her shed when I did not. But when you are reporting on something that has to do with animals being mishandled or mistreated, as a citizen, you have the right to contact authorities if you feel like you need to. And at this point, I would have said, I called them back then, and it is what it is. Later on, did my due diligence to make sure that this was not ignored. I continue to talk about it despite people calling me a mean girl and, oh, you think you're better than everyone else. I don't think I'm better than anyone else, but I am better than an animal abuser. And that is what Mandy is. She is a sad fishing animal abuser, e-grifter, who, in my opinion, is not only harming herself, but she's harming these innocent animals, which, thank God, have been taken out of her possession. So I want to thank the person who sent me this video link. I appreciate it, and I am so happy this day has come. I am so happy that these cats are no longer in her care, but I do worry about this happening again, because these are not the first cats that Mandy has owned and not taken care of. She's also had a couple of dogs that she has had and not taken care of. As of this video being filmed, there were 8 cats taken from her property. They are all sick with upper respiratory infections. And I knew that's what was going to happen, back when I initially talked about the kerosene fumes being bad for cats, people were like, oh, you know, not everyone, but some people, oh, you're blowing it out of proportion. You're making something out of nothing. I'm not making something out of nothing. I go based off science, doctors, people that are trained in animal care and animal wellness. And even if I didn't go off of that, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that exposing animals to toxic fumes is always a bad idea. But to expose them to those fumes in an area that is not properly ventilated, and it's day after day after day after day, the humans in this situation are able to walk out of that shed. The cats are trapped inside this small shed where it's either freezing cold or they're being poisoned by kerosene fumes. And that is why this topic has got me so hot-headed the entire time, because I can see through people like Mandy, because I've known people like Mandy in my real life. And people like Mandy make me sick to my stomach. I always do my best to cover YouTubers and influencers with grace and respect, but when I'm referring to an animal abuser, that goes out the window. If I'm talking about a child abuser or an animal abuser, I have zero respect for you. So at this point in time, this will be my final video about Self-Taught Beauty, unless she returns to her channel and figures out that she can have more animals and put them in harm's way. If she comes back to her channel, which she hasn't uploaded in over a month, allegedly she's been in the hospital. I'm not here to talk about her medical issues. I'm here to talk about her cats finally getting out of this fucked up situation that she put them in. So if she comes back to her channel and wants to upload and thinks that everything's going to be fine if she just goes and gets a couple more cats, or God forbid a dog, I will absolutely cover her, and I will absolutely do everything in my power to make sure that she does not have animals. Because this is so fucked up, and I cannot believe, even if there are mental health issues at play or other kinds of issues at play in this situation, don't trap innocent animals inside of this fucking shed. I said from the get-go, you want to be a cat owner? That's fine. I think having animals can make life so much better. But if you're not in the position to give them a safe shelter, properly feed and give them medical care, then you're not ready to be a pet owner. And that's why organizations like the Humane Society and ASPCA and local rescue organizations exist, because the animals can't just walk out your front door and say, hey, I'm done here. I don't like it here. I'm leaving. They are under your control. And if under your control, they give you all of their trust and love. And if you take that and fuck around with it like she did, you're a piece of shit, in my opinion. And that's just how I feel. So, like I said, beginning of this video, massive trigger warning for this video. It is not a pretty sight, and it is very upsetting when you think about 8 cats living in these conditions. Again, people can walk outside. Animals are trapped in here 24 hours a day. I cannot fathom doing that to an animal who has given me all of their trust. God knows, you know, who knows if the animals were eating. You'll see in this video, definitely had enough money for Pepsi, because there's a bunch of Pepsi bottles all over the place, and there's a bunch of human food trash all over the place. Mandy's whole scheme with this video has been blown out of the water. I didn't feel bad for her, but after seeing this, I definitely have zero sympathy for this woman. She knows what she's doing, and if she wants to do that shit and people want to give her money and enable her, do it. don't involve animals that did not ask to be involved, period. Just to give you guys a little bit of background on this video, I believe this woman is one of the employees associated with the organization that seized the cats. So I will link this video in my description box. If you have Facebook, go share it. Please go share it all over your Facebook. If you're comfortable with doing that, of course, no pressure. But this needs to be seen because Mandy will be back. Professional e-grifters and sad fishers, they don't go away forever. So she will return, and people need to be fully aware of what she exposes animals to. Because we can't have this happen again. Because next time when they go into her shed, it might be 8 dead cats instead of 8 cats that have upper respiratory infections.
It's not. Don't show nothing. I do want a video of it though. I think I'm gonna post this on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Somebody's been here.
Well, guys, this is what Miss Lundy was living in, and also locked up 8 cats inside this building who completely reek of kerosene. They all have upper respiratory infections.
They all have upper respiratory infections. And this is what I talked about a year ago when it came to her using that kerosene heater. You want to use that, and, you know, if you get sick, you can take your ass to the hospital, just like she did for herself. She's in the hospital. So she can take herself and get medical care when she needs it. You don't do that to animals.
Probably kerosene poisoning would be my guess. I just wanted y'all to see what kind of mess this is. That's feces on that bed.
Disgusting. And when she wanted to respond to me and try to say that her cats have orthopedic beds and toys and kitty litter, I knew all of that was a fucking sham. I am so happy that she has 0 cats to take care of at this point. Whenever she gets out of the hospital or whatever it is that she's doing right now that has her preoccupied, I hope that she gets well, because I don't wish ill will on anyone. Even though she's an animal abuser, I'm still better than wishing harm on her, because I like to be able to sleep at night. But with these conditions, looking at these conditions and having the audacity to come and try to respond to my videos raising concerns for your innocent animals, and you want to say that they have orthopedic beds, but your shed is full of shit and trash and plastic and all kinds of hazards that we don't even see. The kerosene heater in itself is a hazard. And you want to talk about an orthopedic bed? I knew that was a sham, and that's why I didn't entertain it. My God, I hope that all of these cats survive, and I hope that they go to the most loving homes where they are surrounded by just people who love and adore and care for them, and they can count on having a bowl of clean water and a meal every single day. I say this all the time. Animals are too good for people. And I really mean that, because you think of some people, not all of them obviously, but you think of people who do this to animals, and you have to be missing a part of your soul to do something like this. And I know that, like I said earlier, mental health can be at play and all that kind of stuff, but to me, that doesn't take me to doing some of the shit that people do to animals.
She just got out of the hospital, I hear. It isn't no wonder anybody that would live like this. I'm surprised she's still alive. So, just wanted to show you. We have 1 cat we weren't able to catch, and we're still working on it. Yeah, I know. I'm videoing it.
Those cats are probably so scared to death the one that they couldn't catch, it probably ran because it was so scared. So I hope that they can catch it so that he can get proper medical care and be adopted out to a family that is ready to care for him or her. I just cannot believe. I always knew that her being in the shed was bad, but this is like 10 times worse than what I even had in my mind. And like I said, I know that people fall on hard times. Totally get that. But this is also someone who has had at one point 3 streams of income. Technically, she still does if she didn't get fired from her job. So she has a job, she has YouTube, and she also gets her Cash App and PayPal donations. 3 streams of income, and you're still like this 2 years later. And if that's your journey, that's your journey. Let's not make it like you're just out here with the worst luck of anyone on planet Earth when the evidence would say otherwise. At this point, I'm not even focused on her anymore because I don't really care. My issue was always her animals from the get-go. If you want to give money and enable whatever behavior she's doing off camera, that's your business. It's your money. But to know that there were animals in this situation, this is why I continue to talk about her. I continue to call her out, and I continue to keep this conversation going, because even those channels that didn't like me, they still can agree with certain points of my argument, and they've made videos themselves. So at the end of the day, anyone with a head on their shoulders can look at this situation and say, let's just take the whole grifting thing out of it. The fact is that there were animals being mistreated, and it needs to be talked about, because when you talk about something, it resonates with your audience. Your audience will talk about it with their friends, and they'll share it on Facebook, and it'll be shared on Instagram. The conversation spreads. Do you think that if people were not a single channel was talking about self-taught beauty, I don't believe that this video would have been on Facebook at this point, because Mandy living in the shed and nobody talking about her, there wasn't much attention on her and her situation. But once people start talking about you on YouTube, word spreads, and people don't like animal abusers.
Can't even walk down the alley to throw trash in a trash can. You got to throw it out back for somebody else to have to clean up. That's disgusting. Okay.
Just trash everywhere. Trash everywhere, and the filth and disgust, feces, literally in the living quarters of where these animals were trapped all day. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm sorry if it was upsetting for any of you guys, but I needed to share this, because as hard as it is to see those images and that video, I am so happy that the cats are out of there. But the next step is to make sure that she does not possess any animals. And I'm hoping, because of this local organization that sees the cats, she will now be on their radar. Once you're on the radar of an organization like ASPCA or a local rescue, it's hard to drop off their radar, because now you're known as an animal abuser and you neglect animals. And them, like a lot of the rest of us, don't like animal abusers, and they're not here for it. So God, I'm so mad. I'm mad, but I'm also glad that the cats are out of there. So I realize that this is the end of that chapter, but I just don't want history to repeat itself. So either way, again, I will link this down below. Go blast it all over Facebook. People need to know who Mandy is. I get it. The truth hurts, but this is the truth. Self-Taught Beauty is an animal abuser. She neglected those cats and she chose to keep them instead of rehoming them. People have been calling her out for over a year to rehome the cats, get rid of the cats just until you can get a permanent place to live that is a proper place to care for animals and you have a little bit of money to feed them and get them vet care if they need it. And instead of doing that, she trapped them in the shed, and the story ends with 8 cats having kerosene poisoning, upper respiratory infections, and let's hope that they are able to be nursed back to health and be adopted out to people who actually know how to care for animals and are willing to do so. So either way, that's going to be it for now. If you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.